It all started 35 years ago when my parents came to America. They were the perfect immigrant couple. My dad started a business. My mom wore all the latest fashions. She also hit these shores, not with the large, bumpy nose she was born with. She left that half of her legacy back in Iran. Yeah, well, she fixed the nose, but not the genes. Even though she had the ideal American honker, I was born with the nose she left behind. So that's where it started, my fascination with the nose. Not just my nose, but everybody's nose.
How do I feel about my nose?
Don't ask about my nose.
I'm very content with my nose. My nose is fine and no problem, okay? All set?
Let's not go into that. That's terrible.
So they don't want to go into your nose. No, that's not a good idea.
When you have a prominent nose, like it works if you're like a violinist or something.
I don't care about noses.
I'm very sensitive about my nose. People touch my nose, I hit them.
It's basically my best feature, besides my intelligence, quick wit.
My husband said if he had my nose full of nickels, he could retire.
From the north of Italy now comes a story that reaffirms the notion that big is beautiful, especially when it comes to noses. The village of Soragna hosts an annual competition to see who has the biggest nose. Contestants are judged not only on size, but on sniffing ability. Function is as important as form. The winner is crowned King Big Nose, and this year, Francisco's winning entry measures 3 inches from stem to stern, and now he is savoring the sweet smell of success.
It's Dutch, French-Canadian, a little bit of Swedish.
That's the Hungarian.
Jewish?
It's not mine. It's my mom's.
Grandfather, my mother, and my great-grandfather on my mother's side.
Great-grandmother's nose.
It's large. Large. It's large.
Mine's too big for my face.
Well, my daughter says big.
I got a big nose, so I got a big ring.
I find that most single women are attracted to me for my nose.
What about married women?
Married women find it repulsive.
Everybody knows. Everybody knows. Everybody knows. That's how it goes. Everybody knows.
You grew up in the post-war United States, and there was this move to how you're supposed to live, this whole idea of a proper, really proper life and lifestyle. And they started building suburbs in the United States. And the suburbs, the houses all look the same, and the front lawns were manicured all the same. There's an incredible move to homogenization. That filters down into everything that we do, that kind of like idea of identity. And it has to do with noses. Clean lawns and small houses. You had the clean line of a nose and the tiny nose. Sandra Dee was like really popular, and she was cute as a button. Everybody thought she was really cute. And she had a button nose.
All the Walt Disney cartoons, they had sweet little noses, and everybody had a sweet little nose. It was just, that's sort of what we saw as being beautiful.
And I always felt like I should have this more Caucasian, pointy nose.
I love being Jewish, but in that respect, I didn't. I really didn't. I wanted to have like that beautiful little Irish nose, you know?
I mean, I think people really associate, you know, just being loud or just ethnic with noses.
Didn't come over here with their noses fixed. They came here and got them fixed, and it's only because they were put into this culture that is so caught up, you know, in what we look like, and making sure that we all match.
The definition has changed to incorporate a lot of women of different ethnicities and different colors and different races, but
God forbid you should be from like a culture where your nose is like, you know, out of control. It's like, forget it.
I'm a beauty editor for a teenage fashion magazine, 17. We just get thousands of letters a month from girls who are so traumatized by their appearance. Beautiful was a model in a magazine. It didn't have many more facets than that. And of course, you know, 15 years later or whatever it is now, you realize that beauty is a lot more than just the exterior. And that sounds so terribly cliched, but I get so many letters from girls of the magazine who hate their face and hate their hair and hate their bodies. And, you know, it's really the stage of life. Like, being a teenager is such a difficult time. And if you don't like a part of your body, if you're not comfortable with it, it's just blown out of proportion. It's just such a big deal. We did a story on the Diary of a Nose Job, and we had a girl go through it. And to be honest, I didn't think her nose was terrible to begin with. And at the end of it, you know, the bump was gone. It was straighter from head on. You really couldn't see that much. She didn't look any different. We did like a little sidebar of all the celebrities who've had it done, but not in a way that you should have it done, this is the answer. More in a way like, it's an option if you're really unhappy, but you should really try to wait it out, because you might really end up liking it at some point.
Feed your nose, believe your nose, sew your nose, believe your nose, pierce your nose, claim your nose, feel good about its size.
Why do I have my nose done? My sister, she's a really beautiful girl, and when she was born, people think she's French girl. She has the eyes and the nose, not Oriental look.
Don't tell anybody, but I got a nose job when I was 16.
This was 1985, so that was 13 years ago.
She got a nose job. She got a nose job.
When I see pictures of myself, I don't like how it looks.
It's sort of like, you know, cutting your hair.
It's like getting really great eyeglasses.
I thought about getting it fixed.
It's now turned up instead of hanging down.
For me, it was, I guess, about vanity.
I just got divorced.
When I was 17, it was very important to me.
She got a nose job. She got a nose job.
I had it fixed.
I got my nose done at 30 years old.
And now she's the prettiest gal in town.
She never had a boy to walk her home. She never had a boy who cared. But now she's never left alone since she had her snot repaired. She got a nose job, she got a nose job, but it's now turned up instead of hanging down. She got a nose job, she got a nose job, and now she's the prettiest gal in town.
It's just something I just always want to have it done, so I just do it.
I think that I spent a lot of time looking into the mirror and thinking how I hated my nose.
I had braces and I had fuzzy hair, and then I had this nose thing.
Usually I just think about it. But one time I did actually go see a plastic surgeon, but it was really depressing. The office was really, the whole idea of going into an office and there's someone in behind the counter knowing what you're there for.
He basically took photographs of me. He took them up from every angle, and he took them really close, and they were in black and white, and he had them blown up into like big 8x10s. They were extremely unflattering.
The plastic surgeon is also like a sculptor, like artist. And we have some bad and some good artists.
As I think it is with a lot of doctors, you all end up with the same nose. Like, I know like several other people who went to the same doctor, and we ended up looking the same.
My mom grew up on Long Island, and there were a lot of nose jobs there. And they all had that Dr. Diamond tip, they used to refer to it.
I remember in Chicago, early on, I remember my mother would like point out whose noses were what. Like there was a Brown or there was a Becker. But then there was an enormous shift when I was going to school between the Tresley nose and the Ariano. It was like models of cars. You know, you could like, there's a Chevy, there's a Ford. It's like, there's a Tresley, and there's an Ariano. Ariano was new, and his thing was like the much more narrower nostrils. The Tresleys were like big noses. They weren't sophisticated in terms of line. And it was almost like a class difference between the Tresleys and the Arianos. The richer people got Arianos, and they waited longer. I mean, there's something about deserving. They waited longer for the right nose.
The poorer girls didn't have that. It's like your Medicaid nose or something. Just
Oriental nose, my nose not a bad one at all. The bridge right here, it's low, and so I want it to be higher, a little bit higher, and go beyond, and go hit that point over there. Cut the nostril here and cut it down smaller and tuck it in. And I think a little bit, very tiny here. And I think he said he's going to lift this up a little bit. Think positive that, you know, I will look prettier and I will like my look, that sort of thing. Today's Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then Wednesday, the surgery is 7:30.
It seems that when people do plastic surgery things, I mean, a lot of it has to do with confidence. If changing something externally gives you some internal confidence, and then maybe that can help you.
I'd never do it again if I had to do all over again. Going into the operating room was one of the most frightening experiences of my whole life. You're in a really weird state because you know you're going in to the OR. You know they're going to do something to you.
Actually, I remember it was very painful, and I could hear when they were going because they didn't put me in a sleep the way they do it now.
They do it this way anymore. They put you under local anesthesia, so you hear everything, but you're drugged. And then they basically take like I think it's called a mallet, like a hammer, and hammer your nose, and you hear it break. That's the only part that I couldn't repeat.
And now she's the prettiest gal in town.
Achieve that confidence without cutting yourself or something.
Show your nose, free your nose, pick your nose, stuff your nose, pluck your nose, treat your nose, smell that pumpkin pie.
I'm going to do hers. Did she pay for it? She'll be perfect.
Why do you want to do her nose? What's wrong with her nose?
I want her to be perfect. I thought I already was. No. That was a good one. Yeah, I think my daughter is gorgeous. She just needs a little improvement.
I knew I had like a big nose. It wasn't so much my issue, as much as my mother would have clearly wished that it would. It was a problem.
He told me, oh my God, you got to do something about your nose. Except my mother.
My dad goes, hey boy, you get your nose fixed?
My mother was hardly the role model for, your nose is great and don't fix it, flaunt it.
And my mother is still pleased as punch. She says, oh, you look so much better. Thank God you got a nose job.
Your mother could make you feel so much pain if she doesn't think that you look perfect.
I just wanted her to do it because I thought she had such a perfect face, and that was the only thing in her face that wasn't right. It was a good experience for me. I was hoping that would be a good experience for her too.
And when you're told all your life that this is the image of beauty, and the culture tells you that. It's not just how your parents torment you, it's a lot. I hope things are changing today, but I'm not quite sure. We're into an incredible body culture today, which is at some level nice because there's pride in it, but at the same time, it's still the commodification of the body.
Nose ring girl, I love you.
A lot of times, the younger people are looking to either enhance their looks, fuck with their parents.
Take a big breath in and let it out.
I don't think that they realize what they look like. It looks like a booger.
Yeah, like a silver booger.
I like my nose now. I used to hate it.
I started really enjoying my nose, and I wanted to just decorate it, you know?
Right. Now, no licking, no biting, no pulling on this piercing for the first 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Still, some people who got some really beautiful ones. I've seen one. It's actually almost intrigued me to think that I might turn around and get my nose pierced in this section here.
Not that anybody's going to be licking your nose much.
Like, for me, I couldn't even really imagine taking it out.
Lather up, rotate the ring from ball to ball, back and forth about a half a dozen to a dozen times.
Reasons I think any body piercing or body beautification, whether it be scarifications or any sort of mutilation, depending on which side of the camp you are, is actually really beautiful. But you have to be doing it for the right reasons, and you have to understand where you're going to sit with it later on in life.
I came to terms with it at a very early age.
And you like it? I like it. It's me.
I love my nose. It's one of my best features.
We've been together for a long time, and I guess I love it. It's a her.
I've come to terms with it. It's you know, it's not an American nose, and that's fine by me.
I like my nose job. I'm so glad I did it. I gave me a lot of confidence. I felt pretty afterward. Altogether, it's good. It was good.
I was happy about it. It just wasn't a focal point anymore. It was like I moved on to something else that bothered me.
Noses are great when they're original. I like them. Now I just think that I kind of chopped off a part of my identity.
It just didn't make that big of a difference in my life. I'm happy. I'm so happy that I got it done because I like the way I look better, you know, with it. But I don't think I would do it again. I don't think I would do it again.
If I could try my old nose on now, I'd really like to. I think it made me a bit more, it was a little bit more unique than what I have now, which is like this straight nose. It's kind of like, you know, having this great sweater and then realizing that you just don't like it anymore because you want something like in cashmere and you throw away the wool sweater and then you realize that like 10 years later that wool sweater was like so cool and it's just too late. So that's how I sort of feel about it now.
So my relationship with my nose is a hard question, but it's not great, you know? It's kind of full of remorse and denial. But as long as I don't show this tape to anybody, it'll be all right.
Scratch your nose, paint your nose, blow your nose, break your nose, fix your nose, grow your nose till a great big light. Show your nose, free your nose, fix your nose, stomp your nose,